Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to today's session of our How to Be a Psychic Medium retreat. I'm your host, Marta the Medium, and it is my absolute joy to welcome a truly powerful guest, the wonderful Maria Goncalves. She's a gifted psychic medium, intuitive tarot teacher, mediumship mentor, author, and host of the enlightening Maria Goncalves podcast, where she delves deep into the worlds of mediumship, intuition, and tarot. Her journey into the spiritual realm began unexpectedly at the age of 30 after a life changing back injury awakened her ability to see, hear, and feel spirit. This profound experience marked the beginning of a transformative path that would redefine her life and purpose. In 2021, Maria and her tarot students joined the Clubhouse app, where her intuitive insights and teachings quickly captured the attention of a global audience. Her story resonated so deeply that it was featured in major publications, including the LA Times and the Toronto Star, ultimately going viral. In 2023, Maria launched her podcast with a heartfelt mission to demystify spiritual development and ease the fears often associated with it. Through candid conversations and personal experiences, she offers a safe, supportive space where listeners are reminded that they are never alone on their spiritual journey. Maria, welcome. I'm so grateful that you're here.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me, Martha. I'm super excited about today's conversation.
Yes, and we never know where it's going to take us, but I'm just kind of curious, and I'm sure the viewers are going to be curious as well. Would you be able to take us back to that pivotal moment when your back injury opened the door to spirit? Do you
Oh,
think you could?
absolutely. So before I hurt my back, I was raised strict Catholic. We have priests, nuns in our family, that kind of strict Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful the way I grew up and with the traditions, but there was nothing about tarot and mediumship, and there was nobody to ask those questions. So I remember once in a while, me and my friends would go to psychic fairs, but we didn't understand them. And you're just kind of like, oh, that's cute. And
Mm-hmm.
then you go about your life. And then when I was 30, I had a severe back injury and everything changed. All of a sudden, I could see, hear spirit, and I could see spirit like I see you. And then
Mm-hmm.
the smelling, like, and maybe some of your viewers have had that experience where you just smell a smell, and there's no reason why that smell should be there.
Mm-hmm.
You smell cigarette smoke, and you're looking around your house and nobody smokes. You're like, where did
Mm,
that come
wow.
from? And so that was actually quite terrifying because I didn't know who to ask. And then one of my dear friends, because you don't know what you don't know. And I was telling her my experiences, and I'm like, I'm really scared. I don't know what's going on. What is happening to my mind? Why can I suddenly see here spirit? And even going to events, I would go to events and I would see extra people there, spirit people.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know there were spirit people. I thought, oh, you have a
Mm-hmm.
new guest. And I just thought it was weird that nobody would talk to the new guest. I was like, why isn't
Mm-hmm.
anybody talking to him? He's standing right there. And then when I would mention, like, who's the guy over there in the corner? And I would get that look, that look, like, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So I learned quickly to be quiet, be very quiet. So when I reached out to a friend, I'm like, this is all happening. I don't understand. Well, my friend doesn't understand either. So we set ourselves out on a mission. It's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I look back, I'm like, oh my God. But in the moment, it sounded really smart. When you're 30, it sounded super smart when you don't know anything and you have zero foundation. So we're like, hey, we're on a mission. So I would look on Meetup because I think there's still Meetup here, but back then, this 25 years ago, we look on Meetup and we find different mediums doing courses, and we would go and be like, how do you unbecome a medium? So everybody's there to learn to connect to spirit. And I'd be like, I'm going to unbecome. The unfortunate part that happened to me, and this is why I'm so passionate about getting rid of the fear. I met back then so many mediums that scared me. It was like, you have
Oh,
such bright light. The good spirits are going to come to you, and then you're going to attract the evil ones, and they're going to take over your body.
oh,
Like all
oh.
of that. And maybe some of the people that are listening today, maybe you've had that experience of fear. Because again, you don't know what you don't know, right? And then you see the word medium.
Mm-hmm.
This was just from my experience with my friend. We saw the word medium, so we thought, oh, they're a medium. They must know everything. They must work from their heart center. No, they don't.
Mm,
Buddy,
mm,
there are people out there that do take advantage of people. So the one thing I would say to people listening, if it doesn't feel right, walk away, run if you can.
mhm,
Don't take it as your truth. But I had a lot of those experiences where there was a lot of fear. And then there was a lot of, if you just come to me for more sessions and give me
mm,
$2,000, $3,000, $5,000, I can help you. I can do a ceremony that will make it go away. I could do this. And then when you're living in that state of fear, which I was for a long time, you don't know. You're like, oh my goodness, they must be telling me the truth. Um, I also remember when I was sharing with my with my parents, my poor parents. I was like, I don't know what's going on. So my parents went off to Portugal one summer and they brought back statues. They went to Fatima, the Holy Land in Portugal, and they brought back these beautiful statues that they got blessed there. And it's the archangel. So Archangel Michael, Archangel
mhm,
Gabriel, and Archangel Raphael. Beautiful, beautiful, like big giant statues. And I put them in my bedroom. My parents were like, you know what? Well, put that in your bedroom, and that should keep you safe from the spirit world. And nothing
mm,
will harm you, and it should make them all go away. Well, I put them in my room. Guess what? They still come. They still come. And then somebody told me, next time you go to sleep, put a rosary underneath your pillow and it will make
mhm,
them all go away. Because when back then, when I was going to sleep, it was like clockwork. Every single morning at 3 a.m., there would be this older gentleman that would look exactly like solid, like I see you, that would wake me up and want to talk to me. And it wasn't until I did a meditation, I think a year ago, that he came to me and I was like, oh my God, it was my great grandfather that was trying to connect
mm.
with me. But, you're not used to having an extra person in your bedroom when you're going to sleep, trying to wake you
Yeah.
up. So that used to scare me. And I thought, if I just put the blanket over my head, um, they can't see me because again, you don't know what you don't know. And I'm like, but the blanket's over my head, you can't see me. And then I would do the get out the sage. So I have the sage. It's like, but they're still coming to me. And I didn't realize it's like my loved ones wanted to visit me. And they
Mm,
were visiting me, but I didn't realize that's who they were. Um, it's my family, but you don't know. And what I found in the beginning of my mediumship, because I had zero training. I watched a little bit of Hollywood movies, which scared me
mhm,
more. So there was so much fear. And as I went on my mediumship journey, and just kept, I just kept going with it because I thought at one point, I thought if I just ignore them, they will go away. And I
mhm,
remember going through a period of my life where I stayed so busy that I was half asleep half the time. Because my biggest fear was if I go back to sleep, they're going to wake me up at night. They're going to talk to me. And then just through my journey, I got to a point where I just learned to embrace it. Oh, can I share a story? I just had a
of
story pop
course.
in my head.
Yes. Yes.
So as I'm going through this journey, I think this was a few years into it, and I became a Reiki master because my whole
Mhm,
thing was if I get into healing, well, the healing too was to help with the back pain. And what I didn't realize while I was going doing the Reiki for myself, I was actually strengthening my mediumship abilities. I did so much meditating, so much prayer. But the interesting with the Reiki, I had gone to this Reiki center, and she would have like Reiki shares once a month. We'd meet other healers and stuff. And I ended up meeting this girl, and I thought, oh, okay, she's nice. And then we kind of went our separate paths. And then I think it was like 2 months later, this spirit person visits me in my house. And he's like, you need to go visit my wife. And I was like, dude, I do nothing. Go away. Leave me alone. And then the next he comes back, he's like, you know, my wife, you need to go visit her. You need to give her a hug. And I was like, dude, again, you go visit her. I'm not. Like, by this time, I had lost contact with this girl because I just met her, right? You know how you do little workshops, you meet people, and then you kind of go about your life, right? Every day for 5 days, I'm going to say he drove me crazy. You need to visit my wife. You need to visit my wife. I was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Then, on a Saturday, I'm at the mall, and there are those statues. I can't remember the name of those statues, but there are these beautiful statues, and they have no faces on them. I don't know if they're called the Willow. They're here in Canada. They're absolutely beautiful. They come in angels. They're of humans of different actions or holding shells, but they have no faces. But they're beautiful, stunning. So all of a sudden, I'm in Hallmark, and I can feel him beside me again. I was like, oh my God. And there is this beautiful statue of a man and a woman hugging each other, and it was a cake topper. It was absolutely stunning. And he's like, you know, I think my wife would really like that. I was like, I don't think so. I'm going to leave the mall now. So I go to leave the mall. I'm walking away. This is me still not embracing fully my meeting. And I'm leaving the mall, and he's following me. He's like, you need to turn around. Like, I would like for you to purchase that for my wife. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So I go back, and because it was just so strong, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do this because I haven't slept in 5 days. You ain't leaving me alone. So obviously this is important to you. So now I'm going to go find this. I purchased the statue. So it's the husband and the wife hugging each other. And then I bring it home. Now I'm on a mission because I don't know where she is. I can't find her. So I reached out to a friend. I'm like, do you remember this girl from class? Like, what happened to her? Where is she? I need to find her. And then I'm telling her my story. She's like, okay, Marie, I got you. Let's go find her. I'm going to make a couple of calls. We're going to try and find this girl. So we find her, and she had ended up in a nursing home because she had broken her leg. And the home her own home was like a 2-story townhouse, so she couldn't climb up the stairs, and she needed the extra help because of her broken legs. So she was temporarily in a nursing home, residence home, like a home, just to temporarily help her. And I walk in, and I wrapped this gift, and I'm like, as I'm walking into the home, I'm like, I am nuts. What am I doing? I am going to mess with this woman's head. But like, I can feel her husband. He's walking with me. Like, he's very happy. He's like, yes, we're going to do this. And I'm thinking in my mind, what am I doing? And then I look around for her, and I'm like, where is she? And they're like, oh, she's not here. They went to give her a bath. And I was like, great. Phew. So I leave the present on her bed, and then I take off because I am scared. So I go to the mall, and I am like, buy myself a cup of coffee. I'm relaxing. The husband's like, he shows up again. He's like, you have to go back. I was like, dude, I did what you asked. Leave me alone. I dropped off the gift. He's like, no, you need to hear the story. You don't know the story. It's like, okay, fine. So I go back again, scared. And then I'm walking down the hallway, and I could see her sitting on her bed, and she's crying. And I'm like, oh, now I've done it. What did I do? What did I do? And then I get in, and she sees me, and she's so happy. She remembers, and we hug. And she's like, the day her husband showed up to me because he had passed away and it was the anniversary of his passing,
Mm,
she kept asking him for a hug from the spirit world. She's like, that's all I
mm,
want is a hug from you. And the statue I bought was a husband and a wife hugging. And I was like,
mm,
oh, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. I felt so much more at peace because I was so terrified. It's weird because you can be scared of mediumship and still walk in the trusting. Still walk
mhm,
in, I know this feels right. I know I need to do it, yet I'm still scared at the same time. And it's an interesting path to walk. And I know as people go through this, even a few weeks ago, I was doing a demonstration in a church and I didn't share that story. I shared a different story, but I talked about having fear,
mhm,
scared of your mediumship abilities. You know you're a medium, you're still scared of them, but deep down in your heart, still trusting and following. And
mm,
then after that, it's like once you say yes to the spirit world, it opens up the door. I did a lot of those things after. I followed a lot of people, be like, hey, your loved one. I don't do that anymore. But back then in the beginning of my mediumship, that's the way spirit would work with me to pass messages. And yeah, so that was kind of a fun story. And thank you for letting me share because I've never shared that story. I forgot about that story. I did write a book a long time ago, Spirits by My Side. And I have that story in there because I just thought I need to share that story with the world because maybe people that are listening today, maybe you've had that nudge that you just, you need to call somebody, and that's spirit. That's their loved ones just nudging you. And it means the world to the person, that visitation, that gift. And like I purchased something doesn't mean you have to purchase something. Not saying that, but follow
mhm.
those nudges. So that's probably one of my favorite stories of being completely terrified and still trusting spirit and still moving forward. Yeah.
Such a beautiful story, and I got very emotional because I could feel his presence, and then
Yeah.
I got chills as you were retelling that story. And I think it's so important to share as psychic mediums, as light workers, those stories because we both know that we, including myself, are not the only ones who used to be followed by people in the spirit world. So if you're watching it and you get visitations, there's nothing to be really scared about, as long as you know that they're the loved ones on the other side. And as you've mentioned, it makes such a difference to the person in the spirit world, but also to the person with whom we are connecting.
Yeah.
It just fills my heart, like listening to this story. Thank you so much. And one other thing that I wanted to mention, you shared about the importance of using discernment, and I think that that's been my experience as well. I learned it the hard way. So the fact that someone's a psychic medium does not mean that they're going to operate through their heart space. So yes, use your discernment, and if someone doesn't really bring messages that are for your highest good, you always have a choice to stop it, and you can just, as Maria explained, run away and find the person with whom you are going to resonate, who is going to make you feel uplifted and supported. So important.
It
Thank you.
really is. I think too, even I think it was just like 2, 3 years ago, I had a reading where a friend recommended, I'll take that back, an acquaintance. Like, when you're doing mediumship circles and stuff and you meet different people,
Mm,
it's like, oh, you really got to go to this person. She's really good. And I went and I was like, there was so much fear. So I think even if friends recommend, because I was here, it depends on who the friend is that's recommending.
mhm,
Because sometimes people be like, yeah, they're really good. And then you're like, oh, so at the end of the day, please always, always trust your gut and be okay. And I have done this. Stop a reading. If you're receiving a reading
mhm,
and it does not feel right, I recently had that 6 months ago. I stopped it because I, as a medium, I love getting readings.
Mhm.
But it went into fear, and I was just like, wait, this is your fear. This has nothing to do with me. I know you're not connected with my loved ones, and you need to stop the
Mhm.
reading right now. But 20 years
Mm.
ago, I would never have done that. I would have been too scared because I would have thought the medium is like almighty, all powerful, all knowing. And they're not. They're just human beings like me and you. And we're all human. We come with our human side. So remember that. If it doesn't, this is what I always tell my students. If the reading doesn't uplift people, why are we
Mhm.
it needs to be for healing. I truly believe mediumship readings are for healing. And then there's also this myth, well, it needs to be like an hour and a half reading. No, it needs to touch your heart. Because I've had
Mm.
readings where there's a lot of fluff, but it didn't touch
Mm.
my heart. And it was like, yeah, that was good,
Mm.
but I don't feel like you were with my loved one. It needs to touch
Mhm.
people's hearts. Anyways, that's the way I am. Yeah, readings need to touch their hearts. And then there is also that myth out there, because I know after the passing of my dad, he came through with different mediums and different mental.
Mhm.
What they cost me, like, I don't know. I gotta, your dad's here. I gotta let you know. And I love that. And just be for me, I was open to they can come anytime. They don't get put away for 6 months or a year for you to go get your reading. Whenever it feels good for you, get your reading. Because I know there is that myth out there. I don't know. What do you think about that, Marta?
Um, I feel it depends on the person who has crossed over. It depends on how much life review they have to do. For instance, with my mom, when she crossed over, she wasn't allowed, she explained to me, to communicate with me for the first 2, 3 months. There's no connection. I didn't hear her. So it wasn't only the fact that she had to adjust, because that's one thing. They have to adjust, they have to learn, they don't have a voice box. So it is a new language. They have to find ways of communicating. But she had to really feel the pain and really experience what she did to me. And the minute she understood, this is when she started communicating. So in this case, I don't think anyone would be able to bring her through.
Yeah.
Uh, but I truly believe that I channeled people who were in the process of crossing over, and as early as someone who has just crossed over a day after. So I don't think it's just, I truly believe that if you find a psychic medium whom you trust,
Yeah.
they will know. And of course, you cannot guarantee that that person is going to, the medium is going to bring your loved one in the spirit world. You can only set an intention and surrender.
Yeah.
But I believe it is possible, but it's not always the case. There's so many factors
And
involved.
then as you talk, it just reminds me of the miracle and magic of mediumship. There's so much unknown that we don't know. And it's so
Mm.
beautiful because it's I feel mediumship is it is magical. It is there's so many possibilities, so many loved ones watching over us, so many beautiful experiences that I feel like it's like that rabbit hole that we just tipped our toe in and so much
Mm.
unknowns, which is so beautiful. And then always remembering you are always safe, you are always protected, because
Mm.
that is a big one. And another one of the fears, and I hear this a lot from beginner mediums, is like, is an evil spirit going to get me? Is this going to be against my religion? Am I going to be
Mm.
punished and sent to hell? It's like you're safe.
Mm.
You're okay, because those are valid fears that a
Of
lot of
course.
people have, and I remember even myself having that in the beginning of my mediumship, just simply because you don't know what you don't know until,
Mhm.
you start meeting other, mentors and teachers over time and talking to other students that are so heart-centered, and the fear just
Mm.
melts away, and just like you
Mm.
said, it's intention. Set that intention. And I find too within my own life, I've had a lot of challenging experiences within mediumship, but I find you know what never to do to another human being, and then you have a story to share to other people, right? Because you learn, because life is ebb and flow, like it's not always flowers and sunshine. So yeah,
Mm.
I find that so powerful with the spirit world. But do you want to talk about some of the clairs within the spirit world?
Yes, well, I would definitely love for you to be able to talk about that. And also, since you started talking about fear and then opposite is the trust, I was hoping you could maybe give, well, I'm curious what advice you would give to a developing medium who struggles with, let's start with like self-doubt or fears that they're making it up.
Yeah.
And also on the other side, you've already mentioned there might be a psychic medium who still feels that they'll be connecting with the negative energy or that they would be doing something against God of your own understanding. So, like, there are different types of fears. I was hoping we can also talk about that. And clairs, of course, yes.
Oh, absolutely. That was a lot. Let me see if I remember. So the first one, just know that the first fear that you're connecting with something that's evil or not good, I think it's super important to remember what is your intention.
Mm-hmm.
And also remembering different mediums work in different spaces, you know, and I do like the one-on-one readings or the platform readings, but I feel like I work with the more healed spirits because I have friends that work in the paranormal space. So when they're working in the paranormal space, that's a completely different type of spirit person that they're working with. Um, and then when we're doing readings, you're always safe. Even if you're working in the paranormal space, you're always safe. So for those that are interested in going into the paranormal within mediumship, because there's so much you can go, be trained. Just
Mm-hmm.
because I think training's so important. And the reason I say training is important because that's where you're going to meet other people just like you, having experiences just like you. And you have a mentor that's basically just a few couple of steps ahead of you, that's had a few more experiences than you, and that can guide you. And that's why mentors are so important in this space to get rid of fear. And I find, like, even for myself, because I teach mediumship, but I find in the first 15 minutes when we get on circles, like, what happened this week to you within your mediumship? So people can share
Mm-hmm.
their fears or their experiences. And I also truly believe it's super important to be skeptic because I'm super skeptic. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you feel something? Like yesterday, I was doing a training. I've been in 4 days training with Andy Bing, who's absolutely incredible mentor. And I was sitting with a friend and we were doing a practice reading. And I could feel someone adjusting my sweater behind me, like
Mm-hmm.
physically, like my sweater's getting adjusted. I feel the curtain moving. And I thought it was somebody else sitting in another section. I was like, that's weird. And then I look around, I'm like, wait, there is nobody beside me. There's no reason anybody, I should be feeling human hands touching me. And then, because I always go to the skeptic, like first, like, did somebody actually touch me? And then I realized, no, it was that spirit person's loved
Mm-hmm.
one in the spirit world that was touching me and adjusting my
Mm-hmm.
sweater, which I love. So I thought that was so cool. So I think it's important to have a healthy dose of skepticism because that's
Mm-hmm.
super important, um, to get rid of the fear, knowing you're always protected and knowing what your intention is. Your intention
Mm-hmm.
is to go support people on their healing journey, to be the voice for their loved ones,
Mm-hmm.
the spirit world. So that's your intention. So no harm will ever come to you. It doesn't. And I think when you hear the spooky stuff, I think that's all Hollywood, where they make it super scary. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all about Hollywood. But I feel like it's super important to to be trained and to sit with a mentor and to find other mediums that have maybe a little bit more experience with you and to have those conversations. And there are a lot of free Facebook groups where people ask questions, and I like being in them because it's really cool because you kind of forget. You're like, oh, yeah, I remember I used to feel that way 25 years ago. Like you forget the fear. So it just kind of reminds you and it grounds me. It's like, yes, people have that experience. And then what you said, am I making this all up? And, the spirit world lives in our imagination. And I think, too, the cool part is, like, even yesterday, sitting there, and I'm like, who's touching me? Am I making this all up? It's like, well, I set the intention in that time to connect with that person. So in that time, as I'm having that experience, I've set that intention with the spirit world. So no, you're not making it up. Everything. And then also remembering when spirit's communicating, they're using all of your experiences.
Mm.
I'll hear that. It's like, well, my uncle's showing up, but I'm doing a reading for somebody. Why is my uncle even showing up? And it's like, well,
Mhm.
tell me about your uncle. Your uncle's showing up because he's helping you with the reading. So there are some qualities. Maybe it's the way your uncle looks. Maybe it's your uncle's personality. Maybe it's the job your uncle had. And
Mhm.
that spirit person that you're helping and giving the reading to the person in front of you, that's why your uncle's showing up. Because I will hear that a lot. It's like, am I making it up? Why is the memory of my Christmas popping up for me? Like, why are my
Mhm.
memories coming up? Well, because that's part of how spirit works with you. They use your experiences. That's why I feel like we're not everybody's medium because we all have different experiences, right? Um, but yeah, so I think for that, just trust. If it and then too, if you're doubting your mediumship, and I find too in the beginning you'll have like an experience here, an experience there, just trust and go with it and journal it. And then because I remember at the beginning of my mediumship journal, oh, my wrist was very sore. I would write a lot. I would write all my experiences and I would share with friends. And then a couple of days later, there would be a confirmation from spirit and be like, yeah, that's
Mm.
real. So I think, get a best friend, get somebody and just share with them your experiences, journal it, or join a mediumship circle and be like, you're not going to believe what happened to me.
Mhm.
Surround yourself with people that are going to celebrate you because I think that's super important in the beginning of your mediumship. And oh my goodness, I can't speak. In the beginning of your mediumship journey, you really need to surround yourself with people that are going to celebrate you and get
Mm.
excited. It's like, yes, that happened. Oh, like this weekend, I haven't had this in a long time, but I've been finding feathers. And it's like, where do the feathers come from? Then my skeptic mind will be like, I don't have a feather coat. I don't have feather pillows. I don't own any birds in the house. And all of a sudden, these random feathers every single day are showing up, completely different feathers, different sizes from different.
Mhm.
And then too, you could be doubting, but when you're having the experience, what's the next thought that comes to your head? So for me, as those feathers are showing up, the thought that drops into my mind is message from my dad in the spirit world
Mm.
saying hi. So trust that. I think that's really magical in the beginning of your mediumship and also remembering you're like a kid in a candy store. So have fun with the spirit world, have fun
Mm.
exploring, and remember, you don't need to share with everybody because there are going to be people that are not into this, and that's okay.
Mhm.
Because I did that in the beginning. I felt like everybody needs to believe what I believe. What do you mean you don't believe my experiences? And then I learned over time, it's like, no, everybody's got their own belief system. So just find your crowd, find your people. And I think too, the hard part, and I don't know if you experienced this in the beginning of your mediumship journey, is as you're finding the people that support you, the old people disappear.
Mhm.
Had
Well,
that?
I think there are like waves of people that come and go, and Spirit's been clearing so many people. I think it's a constant clearing as we will advance or maybe raise our vibration. And it's nothing ego-based, but we outgrow certain people, or maybe they were meant to stay with us because of certain life lessons, and then we tend to move to other people. So,
Absolutely.
yes.
Oh, absolutely. I 100% agree. So I think for those that are listening, if you're going through that, because I know when you're in it, it's hard because you're kind of like, where did everybody go that was close to you? Uh,
Mhm.
know that the spirit world has your back, the angels have your back, your spirit guides have your back, and they're just realigning you for the next opportunities, the next learning phase. Because I find we're always in learning mode. It's like, oh, it's clearing. I feel a shift. It's like, okay, now you're being like realigned to learn some more, and new people are coming into your life. So take that as like you're graduating. It's exciting.
It is, and we never stop learning. So that's the beauty of it. It's we carry on um, strengthening in terms of mediumship. Well, I keep hearing we have to talk a little bit about clairs, strengthening your clairs, or spirit gives layers to the way we're able to deliver messages. Do you think towards the end of our conversation, would you be able to talk a little bit? Because I know certain people who are watching us are new to this.
Yeah.
Could you talk about what are the clairs? And for someone just starting out, how can they discover which of their clairs are most active and how they can strengthen those that maybe aren't so strong?
Okay, yes. So I think I love the clairs because the clairs, and I've seen this where people are like, am I intuitive? Am I not? Just everybody's intuitive. And all the word clair means is just, it tells you where your intuition is the strongest within your body. So I think like one of the most popular clairs that people have heard is clairvoyant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is where you see an image in front of you. It could be a thought image, but you see this picture or you see a little movie clip. And then the next, well, even within the clairvoyant, then there's the objective clairvoyant. So that's where I now see it solid. So I will no longer see spirit in like a little picture. For me, in the beginning of my mediumship, and every once in a while, I will see spirit the way I see a human, like completely solid.
Mm-hmm.
That is more rare. Some people get it, some people don't. One is not better than another. So please remember that. And different exercises you can do to strengthen your clairvoyance. And I think so many of us already do it. So if you see a picture, close your eyes and recreate that picture within your eyes. I remember years ago, again, quite by accident, I was strengthening my mediumship abilities and I didn't know it. And I found a meditation tape and it was about colors. So imagine the color red, and I would close my eyes and I would see different types of reds, or imagine fruits. An orange, have a picture of an orange, peel the orange, and then all of a sudden that becomes like a little movie clip. How many times have we all peeled an orange? Every single day. So if you close your eyes and recreate what you just did, that is strengthening your, like, even as I'm talking to you, I could see the detail within an orange. When you peel it, and you can hear it and you can feel the texture, you can actually use all your clairs within, like, for an exercise with just an orange, because you could smell it, you could taste it, you could do so much with that. This was years ago. I studied mindfulness meditation with a Buddhist nun, and we would do the clairs. And with clairvoyant, one of the exercises was it was a church, and in the backyard, we would go out there and she'd be like, look at that tree. Now close your eyes and recreate that tree in your mind. See that bird over there? Recreate that bird. The details of the feather, the size, everything. If the bird started to fly and we all witnessed the bird fly, and she'd be like, close your eyes and recreate that image again. So that's something super easy that we can do going outside. How many times have you gone for coffee and you're just people watching? Close your eyes and just recreate that in your mind's eye. Another thing, when you're walking, because this was one of the big things with mindful meditation in my training for clairvoyance, is when you're walking, be aware of everything around you. Like, look, how many times do we look? We never look up. Look up, look to the left, look to the right, look below, and then, close your eyes and recreate those images in your mind's eye. And it's just like, and you could do that when you're like meditating. You could do that when you're waiting for the bus, you're sitting at the airport, and you're just observing everything, and you're looking at the details of everything, like all the little curves, look at all the different shades of that color. Like, you can have so much fun with clairvoyance. Does that help? Is that too much?
I'm sure it does. And you just mentioned, well, so many important things, but we should always have fun when developing, when communicating. There has to be that component of fun and magic, because then I truly believe we develop with so much more ease. And then it raises our vibration.
It does. It does. I was just thinking, like, coffee shops, because I'm a coffee lover. How many different coffee shops have you gone to? What are the colors of the coffee cups? Because some have logos, some don't. So again, you're getting into, I feel like, art, and which is all visual, because clairvoyance all visual. And then you close your eyes and then you recreate those beautiful images within your mind's eye. And just have fun. Have fun with all the colors. It's like, pretend you're back in kindergarten and you're just going to have fun with all the paints and the colors. And yes. And then there's clairsentience. So, well, let me see. Clairvoyance is the clear seeing. And before I move on to the next one, you're going to hear a lot of people say, I see. It comes in your language too. You'd be like, oh, I see this. Oh, I see that. And you'll soon realize, wait, I am more clairvoyant, because I do say that a lot within my language. And then there is a clairsentience, so clear feeling. And you're going to hear people say, I feel. So, and it's a sensing too, where you're feeling. And there are different exercises you can do with that. I like when you're going out shopping and you feel all the different fabrics. That's like really cool, because that just gets your senses of feeling, and then also feeling different emotions. So you could do exercises where something you love, just think of something that you absolutely love, put it in your heart and just sit there. And what does love feel like? And what does sadness feel like? Because they're two different emotions, and that's clairsentience. That's like, oh, I really feel sad, or I really feel happy. Feeling textures, and then also knowing, as you're developing your mediumship, you may suddenly sense spirit or feel spirit beside you. You may feel like them touch your face, or like me yesterday, where someone was adjusting my sweater, which was really cool. So don't be scared of that, because I know in the beginning of my mediumship, I was terrified of that. Like, did you have that experience, Martha? I was so scared. It's like,
yes,
just
because I didn't know what it was about. Yes.
Yeah. And that's just the spirit world saying, hi, I'm here. You're safe. Again, because no harm can come to you. And I think that's super important, especially in the beginning of your mediumship, because there is so much fear, knowing that you are safe. And it's just different ways of them letting you know that they're around you. You could do different exercises where you close your eyes and you just feel things. Washing dishes. I tell people, wash dishes, and I get this look like, you wash dishes? Yes, I do. I actually prefer washing dishes than putting it in the dishwasher, which is weird, because I like if you've ever washed a cup or a plate, close your eyes, just feel the water hit your skin. It is like, it feels different. Or when you're taking a shower and you're feeling the sensation of the water, or, there's so many different things even like lotions that you put on your skin, feeling that lotion on your skin,
Mm-hmm.
feeling different textures. Like how many times you sit in your couch, what does your couch feel like? Is it leather? Does it feel warm? Does it feel cold to the touch? Is it smooth? Is it soft? Is it fuzzy? So the world is full of textures. You go outside and you put your feet and, take off your socks and walk on the grass. What does the grass feel like?
Mm.
Go to the beach. What does the sand feel like? Go to the ocean. What does the water feel like? And again, close your eyes, because it makes the feeling, the clairsentience, that's so much more powerful. Yeah. And then there is, do you want to add anything?
No, I'm just listening. Well, what has popped, there'll be various once you've asked me, but one thing that I want to add here is that it is so important to mention that developing and strengthening your clairs does not have to be detached from your human experience, that you can strengthen various clairs by becoming more aware and present in your day-to-day life. So yes, I think this is so
Absolutely.
important.
I think it's so important. And then too, because you just remind me of something, your day-to-day life. So maybe you're listening to this and you would not call yourself a medium, and that's okay. But you've had the clairsentience, you've felt spirit touch you, you've had those experiences. So no, they're not just for you have to be a medium. Everybody can have those experiences. I feel like at one point or another, you may have felt spirit brush up against you, and you're like, wait, there's nobody here. And that
Mm-hmm.
clear sentience or the soft touch on your face. And that's your loved one just saying hello. So, no, it's just not exclusive to you have to be a medium, because these clairs, like we're talking about these clairs in mediumship, but these clairs are also in psychic, right? They
Mm-hmm.
also develop your psychic abilities. So then there is clear audience. So that's clear hearing. And the language you're going to hear from people is like, I hear. So
Mm-hmm.
pay attention to how you speak, because I always find that so interesting. And that's where you could hear thoughts inside your head. And sometimes it's your voice, sometimes it's another voice, or clear audience could be objective clear audience, where you hear a voice that's outside of
Mm-hmm.
yourself. I've only heard that a few times in my own life, where I hear a clear voice, it's not my voice, and I hear it loud and clear. And that's usually when I'm not listening to the whispers. And spirit steps in, it's like, you didn't listen to the little nudges. You didn't listen when we had the little thoughts go through your head. So now we're going to say it nice and loud and clear outside your, because I always take like, whoa, where did that come from? And I look around again, being skeptic, which is super healthy. There's nobody around me. So the next possible solution is it is spirit speaking to me. It's my guide speaking to me. It's only happened a few times in my life. And when that happens to me, I pay attention and I do it. How about you, Marta? Has that happened to you?
When I don't listen, when I don't dedicate enough time, it's normally my name, like Marta, Marta. I'm like, I'm here, called by. Like, okay, I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen. I promise. Yes.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So different ways to practice clairaudience. Again, this is where close your eyes and just listen to the sounds. I used to love in the beginning of my development just going to the park and closing my eyes and listening to all the different sounds. You hear the kids playing, you can hear people jogging behind, you can hear the cars.
Mm.
You could hear the dogs barking, the birds chirp. I used to find that super, super relaxing. Uh, Now I like when I do that, I prefer going, I just take a drive, like the lake's like 10 minutes from our house, just drive down to the city. Cause I'm in Ontario, Canada, so just outside Toronto. So we have a lot of water lakes here. So I just go down to
Mm-hmm.
the lake and I'll sit there on the bench and just close my eyes and listen to the sounds of
Mm.
nature. And I find that so relaxing, and it connects me so much more to the spirit world. I find too, I knew he's out in BC, a medium, he was a music teacher. And so he would close his eyes and he could tell you all the notes. So it just depends. What are you guys interested? Like when you're listening to music, you can close your eyes, you can hear all of those different sounds because there's so many different sounds. If you live like downtown Toronto, you've got the subway, the airplanes, the people, the busyness of life. And if you just close your eyes, and a fun exercise is try and figure out what sounds you're listening to, what sounds are closer, which sounds are far away,
Mm-hmm.
and just get lost in the sounds. Again, have fun. Don't this isn't homework. No one's being graded. And I think too it's important to realize we're all at different levels, and maybe you're very clairvoyant right now, and then all of a sudden spirit's like, oh, you know what, we're going to work more on your clairaudience, or we're going to work more on your clairsentience, and you're not going to be so clairvoyant anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay, and that's normal, because I've had it where I've been super clairvoyant and then that kind of dimmed down, or I was super clairsentient and I could just feel everything all the time, and then that dimmed down, and now I find I am very claircognizant, so that knowing, I just know, and that's where I'm
Mm-hmm.
at now. And it's a spirit-led life, and it's trusting spirit and knowing they will help you with your clairs. So they got your back, don't worry. Did you want to add something?
No, no. Well, when you ask me, there is always something that pops into my mind. Well, one thing that I can add here is, well, I keep hearing the word audioscape. So it's so important to expose yourself. Of course, there'll be different sounds in the city. So we've got cityscape, but then you can spend, when you spend time in nature, there'll be other sounds. And first of all, like do what's within your comfort zone or what's your closest environment. But then, like going on holiday, driving away from your usual environment can really make you more sensitive to other sounds. So I would encourage anyone to expose yourself to different sounds.
Yeah, yeah. And then I love that. And then we're going to go to claircognizance. So, like I said, we are going to
Mm.
hear that just, I know. It's just a knowing. And maybe you're like this or maybe you're not. But I also feel like sometimes maybe we are a little bit in the beginning because the phone rings and you just know who it's there. So you play
Mhm.
that game and just be like, okay, phone's ringing. Let's see if I can guess who's there. Let me tune in and see if I get it right. And that's a fun exercise to develop the I knowing Claire. And then that just kind of happens naturally. I feel too, the more you trust as you're going through this, especially with um like that clear, like I know, the more you trust, the stronger it gets. Because I don't know if people that are listening have had this experience where you just know the decision should have been yes, but maybe your friends talked you out of it and you went,
Mhm.
oh, thank you. And then after something happens, you're like, oh, I should have done it. I just knew I should have done it, but I didn't listen to my intuition. I didn't listen to that knowing within me, that inner compass where you just know. And then two, when people ask, because I find it always interesting, it's like, well, how do you know? Explain it to me.
Mhm.
I can't explain it. It's just a knowing. It's a trusting. And when you have it and it feels so strong, that trusting, and you stand taller. So pay attention to your body, because your body will let you know when you're in that. I know this is the right decision for me.
Mhm.
And I feel too, and I remember having this talk with a couple of university students a few years ago, and it's just about language. Because I'm like, the CEO of a multi-million dollar corporation, how do you think they got there with that? I know, I just know this is the right decision. I just know, like the entrepreneurs, I just know when you sell your house and you're just like all of a sudden one day, you just have that feeling like, I just know I need to move. Like it's in
Mhm.
our everyday lives, not just like exclusive for mediumship. So if you start to look back on your life, it's like, how many times have you had that feeling where you just knew you had to go here, or you
Mhm.
just knew it was time for you to go on vacation? You just knew, I have to go here. And then all these wonderful synchronicities happen. But with the mediumship, it's that knowing and trust it. And the more you trust, the stronger it gets. Yeah.
Mm.
And then there is the other two, the tasting and the smelling, which I have very rare. So the clairgustance is the clear tasting. You'll hear people say, I taste. And you'll hear that in mediumship readings where people are like, oh, I taste a hamburger or I taste whiskey. I don't really get that. But different ways of developing that is when you're out eating, eat slow. I thought eat
Mhm.
fast for always in earth. Like actually eat really slow. Taste your food. Taste like all the ingredients in it and set that intention with the spirit world. That like when you do readings, you want that to be one of your clairs that gets strengthened. I know too, like within my class, I have a student and she's a foodie. She loves
Mm.
food and she's like a cook. So when she does readings, she could get your loved one's favorite food and she could tell you all the ingredients because that's one of her strengths. So if that's something that you guys want to develop, it's just eat slow. Because then if you eat slow, you pay attention to all the textures, to everything. Um, and then that will, over time, if that is an intention that you set with the spirit world that you want to develop, the tasting. I remember too, we had to do this exercise when I was studying mindfulness meditation. I don't know if you've ever done this, Martha. It was we had a chocolate raisin and we had to put it in our mouth and we had to sit there quietly and meditate on it. It was so hard. It was so hard. In the beginning, it was like, oh, this is so amazing. Chocolate. I was in heaven. It was a chocolate covered raisin. But as you're sitting there over time and the chocolate melts, all of a sudden you begin to feel all the textures of the raisin. It's like it's so wild to meditate on a raisin. So that's a really cool exercise. But just eating slow and like when you're eating oranges, what does that feel like? Or when you're drinking coffee, what does that taste like? For people that enjoy different liquors, what does that taste like? Just
Mm.
slow down, and that will strengthen your taste buds. And then there is clairalience. I don't know if I said that right. Clear smelling. And again,
Mm.
you'll hear people say, I smell. And you'll hear that a lot in mediumship readings where people are like, I smell flowers, but there's no flowers in the room. So no, that is from the spirit world. Or I smell cigarette smoke, but there's nobody in the room is smoking. No, that's from the spirit world. And that again, you can use that with your eating, because when you're eating food, it also smells. It has different smells. And as you go about your day, slow down, smell the roses. Everything has a different
Mm.
scent. Perfumes have different scents. People smell different. Houses smell different.
Mhm.
Places of service smell different. Spas always have that smell. I feel like it's the sage smell. It's beautiful. Like everything has a different smell. And it's so beautiful. Yeah. And that's it. Those are some exercises. I feel like that's a lot of exercises. And I think too, when you're developing this, please don't rush yourself. Please don't feel like you need to develop all five because nobody does. If you want to practice one for a month, go for it. Be kind to yourself and just have fun. Please just have fun because that's what's going to open you up is having fun. If we're trying too hard, we're going to block ourselves because then we're going to feel, oh, I feel disappointed. I didn't get this. And please do not compare yourself to the next person training with you and be like, oh, they're developing faster. I'm only here. Doesn't matter. Everything happens in divine timing. So please just have fun with that. Yeah. And
I
that's it.
love it. Mm. Before we close, is there a message? I'm sure there will be, but is there a message Spirit is guiding you to share with our retreat community today?
Uh, I love it. I think most importantly, just have fun, be kind to yourself, and trust your intuition. And remember, it's not a race. There is no finish line. There really is no finish line. Just enjoy the journey and watch how life opens up for you. Yeah, that would be my message for everybody, because I know in the beginning of my development, I thought there was a race. I thought there was a finish line that I had to get to, and there isn't. Be kind to yourself and know you are exactly where you are supposed to be. And you're made of love. So keep spreading your love and your joy and your beautiful light,
Mm.
one heart at a time. Yeah. And I want to say thank you, Marta, for having me on your podcast. I'm so excited to be a part of this retreat. So thank you so much.
No, thank you. I really enjoyed our conversation. And I know that conversation could have easily been like 2, 3 hours. We had to restrict ourselves, but it's really good because if you are watching it, you might want to explore how can you work with Maria? So, like, if you could maybe share towards the end, where can people find you and how they can work with you?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. I think one of my favorite things is teaching, because it's so much fun. So I offer mediumship development circles every Wednesday, 7 to 9 Eastern Standard Time. And I work with all different levels and I meet you where you're at. And then in September, I have the Intuitive Tarot course coming up. So for those that want to develop their psychic abilities, and remember, tarot cards are fun, they're not evil. Because I've heard that too. Have fun. If you guys want to explore tarot cards, feel free to join me. It starts in September. And my website is martathemedium.com. You can find me on Instagram at martathemedium. I'm on TikTok, martathemedium. You can find me on YouTube at martathemedium. And then I have a Facebook group that you guys can join that's free and have conversations, and a Facebook page, 𝐟𝐨𝐫𝐞 Psychic Medium. So I'm all over. Feel free to join me, ask questions, and most importantly, just have fun and listen to different podcasts and stuff that are out there, and to Martha's, because it takes the fear out of developing your mediumship and developing your psychic gifts. And I think that's super important because there's a lot of free stuff out there, and take what resonates and leave what doesn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Maria, again, thank you so much for sharing your time, your wisdom, spirit with us, but also your beautiful heart. I really appreciate your presence. And I want to say thank you to everyone who's watching it, whether live or on a replay. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye bye.